How's it going, you guys, and welcome to another Wakai Comic production. Well, today we're going to bring you a review for Dragon Ball Super episode 89. Now, the title of that episode is A Mysterious Beauty Appears, the Tien Style Dojo Mystery. And let me just give you my opinion off, just right off the flip, you guys. It was an okay episode. I mean, it wasn't anything that wowed me like the previous episodes have been doing. I mean, it was there, you know, it was cool to watch while it happened, and you know, that's pretty much my opinion of it. Nothing too great, and it wasn't really awful. Now, after giving my opinion of it, I should go ahead and give you guys a synopsis of what went on, so you can basically understand my meaning. Now, essentially, this episode starts with Goku, and he's looking for Kame Sennin, basically, and Kame Sennin is Master Roshi, Muten Roshi. So, he's looking for him, so he goes to Kame house, and he flies there, and he gets there, and he's like, hey, where's Master Roshi? Well, the door opens, and it's not Master Roshi, it's actually Oolong, the fat pig, you know, so I guess he's watching, Muten Roshi's house for him while he goes to visit Tien, at Tien Shinhan's new dojo, which is pretty cool, man. Tien Shinhan is awesome, and for him to have a dojo seems to fit him to be the new teacher of the crane art. That's pretty cool, and more about that later as we can dig into some Dragon Ball lore. But basically, we get to the point in the episode where this girl who we saw in the previews, her name is Yuri, right? That's her name. Now she shows up at Tien Shinhan's dojo, you know, and she seems all innocent and everything in the beginning, you know, so there's no ill will or any malice, you know, she just really looks like she's getting ready, she wants to learn. She shows up at the dojo, and wouldn't you believe it, this episode turns into the most pervy Master Roshi display I've seen since Dragon Ball, man. Like, pervy as all hell. All he does is ogle over this girl and touch her and just stare at her. The first thing he does is stare at her breast, bro. Like, stare at her tits. That's the first thing he does. And you would expect it to be, I mean, Roshi's always been a perv, don't get me wrong. But this time around, dude, like, Roshi's a super perv, dude. That's his new level of transformation of power. He goes from perv to super perv. So, I mean, with all the Roshi perviness to the side, because it is there, and I mean, if you were comedy of Dragon Ball in the Roshi perviness, then hey, I mean, this is for you. But if not, I mean, it's a little bit too much, you know. But the art of this episode is actually really, really good. There's one shot in particular that I like to shout out with the art. Goku was flying out to Tien Shinhan's dojo after he learned the location, and it was just a really nice shot of the island that Tien's dojo was sitting on. It was on like the side of a mountain, and just a really, really nice scenic shot. And the art in Dragon Ball Super is good. I would say the best display of art so far, though, that I can think of is Goku versus 17 when they were fighting in the sunset. That was amazing, and the animation and art direction and everything in that, fantastic. Super is doing a really, really good job. So one of the actual plot points that we pick up actually is we actually come back to Kaba, which with Kaba we learn some new things. Now Kaba is actually here talking to Khalifa. So he's talking to her about entering the Tournament of Power. And at first, you know, she's not really down. Mind you guys, I watched this Japanese, so I was inferring, you know, like I don't speak Japanese and I don't really understand it too well, but I was inferring. But essentially, he was speaking to Khalifa about entering the tower, and Khalifa was like, she didn't really want to do it, and her goon started to get around Kaba. So Kaba goes Super Saiyan and knocks them all back, you know, like they're trash. He knocks them all out of here, and Khalifa's like, oh, like, what is this power? And Kaba's like, oh, this is Super Saiyan, you know, Super Saiyajin just. Super Saiyajin, this is what he says, you know, this is Super Saiyan. So she says that essentially she'll fight in the Tournament of Power if Kaba teaches her the Super Saiyan power and makes her become even more powerful. Which, I mean, that's a good trade-off, because apparently she should already be strong if she got the recommendation from Renzo, you know, to fight in the tournament. But we also learned something else. We see Kale. Now, Kale is the female Super Saiyan that we see in the trailers. Now, I thought it was Khalifa, but the art was always different. I just thought maybe it was an art switch up, because, I mean, Toriyama, man, he does a lot of weird stuff, and I just thought maybe he wanted to do a redesign, but no. We actually see her in the background, and in the background, she doesn't make too much noise, she doesn't speak or anything like that. She's very much a background character when we see her, just there. But she's there for us to know that's the female Super Saiyan. It's obvious, the outfit matches, the face matches, the hair matches. She's the female Super Saiyan that everybody's been concerned about. So Khalifa is different from Kale. Kale is the legendary Super Saiyan female, and Khalifa, I'm hoping, will just get a regular Super Saiyan and be the first Super Saiyan female that we see. I'm hoping she gets a Super Saiyan, just a regular Super Saiyan transformation like Kaba. I think that'd be pretty awesome. But basically back to Yuri. Surprise, surprise, Yuri brings the conflict in the episode. I mean, it wasn't too much to predict that. You know, it was kind of obvious. She's the only character that's not really supposed to be here at the time. She brought the conflict, and the conflict being not only to get away from Master Roshi's perviness, but she was mad at Tien for not, and Chaozu for not training her back in the day. She knew them back in the day in the Crane School. So what she does is she has these talismans and she puts them on the faces of Tien's garbage students. And let me tell you, these students are horrible. Goku and Tien shut them down like nothing just by barely tapping on them. I mean, yeah, they're students, but oh my lord, they're bad. But basically, she hits them with talismans and turns them into zombies, and they kind of wreak havoc on the town for a little bit. We get to see her fight Roshi though. So Roshi goes from pervy mode to like serious fight mode with her. He doesn't go buff or anything yet. He does go buff, but not with her. He just fights her. Master Roshi is super, he's the martial arts man, you know. He was the one that did it before everybody else. He was the strongest. So he tanks her attacks like they're nothing. And then after he does that though, she hits him with a talisman because, you know, Master Roshi being the perv that he is, gets exposed by his perviness and, you know, sees underneath her skirt, and she hits him with a talisman in his weak spot. Tien then proceeds to fight Master Roshi, and in this fight we get a surprise, man. It turns out Tien gets stomped by Master Roshi, man. Like, he gets stomped by Master Roshi. So Tien is lower than Master Roshi on the tier. He even brings out his like forearm move that he used back in Dragon Ball. He brings it out, and Roshi, like, he's looking at him like, dude, like, he just stomps him, he beats him in the ground, bro. He bodies Tien. So after Tien just gets bodied by Roshi, apparently, it's Roshi v Goku. You know what I mean? Roshi versus Goku. And for Roshi to even be able to trade blows with Goku is, even in his base form, is incredible, because you got to remember, Goku has God Ki infused in his base form. So the power scaling is crazy. Like, don't get me wrong, it's crazy. At this point in time, there's no telling what's gonna happen. Roshi, of course, doesn't pose a threat to Goku or nothing like that, but to even be able to hang is crazy. The fight though goes on for a little bit. You know, they clash, they throw punches Dragon Ball Z style for a minute. Goku flies into the air, shoots a Kamehameha wave that hits Roshi, destroys the talisman, and hits Roshi a little bit. Roshi tanks it. He just lays down and pretty much goes to sleep. So pretty okay fight sequence, if you ask me. Not nothing too bad. The zombie students, you know, they didn't really do nothing or serve any purpose, I guess, but you know, I guess it was fun, you know, a little Dragon Ball type episode, you know, a contained incident within one episode with Roshi and Tien. So it was okay. I'm far more excited though for next week. Because next week we get to see Gohan versus Goku. And oh man, let me tell you something, that's gonna be fantastic. I mean, it's gonna be a 2v2 first. It's gonna be Goku and Tien versus Gohan and Piccolo. Don't get me wrong, that actually seems pretty cool too, to get to see a fight of that caliber. But we all know what we want to see. So thank you guys for watching. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys later. Thanks.